Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH The Flame Emperor Part 53 based on novel. So let's start. The battle in the sky is imminent. The Juhun monument exudes red flame energy, and Xiaoya exudes a silver energy. Yin Xie also seemed to have noticed that the two were attacking him with a very turbulent aura. His pupils shrank tightly, and the ghost energy, all over his body, also spun at a high speed. It's not advisable to stay here for a long time. Let's get rid of them first, and wait until the evil Yin is integrated. Yin Evil also has a plan, and then does not plan to fight hard. After all, he has just broken through the seal, just assimilated the woman, and his strength has not yet returned to its peak. So it is quite difficult to deal with two 7-star fighting emperors. Ghost Painter. Yin Xie shouted loudly, and did not wait for the two to shoot first, but made the first shot by himself. As the evil spirits shouted down, the strange black energy in the entire sky suddenly condensed into a huge palm, whistling away towards Xiaoya. In the huge black palm, there is an amazing power, which makes the lips of everyone under the sky dry slightly. Yin Xie is also clear. Although the Nine Souls Monument and Xiaoya are both 7-star fighting emperors, there is no doubt that the Nine Souls Monument is more powerful. So it is also the first to attack Xiaoya. Xiaoya didn't expect this evil to be so decisive. Seeing this terrifying giant hand attacking her, she didn't panic. The handprint was slightly knotted, and the space around her was squirming. The next moment, Xiaoya suddenly disappeared, and the terrifying giant hand also fluttered into the air. The next moment, another space in the sky wiggled slightly, and Xiao Yu also appeared. The strength of this evil is even stronger. Although he had just avoided the attack of the evil with ease, Xiaoya also knew that if it wasn't for her own special means of traveling through space, it would be quite difficult to deal with it, because the power contained in the black gas giant hand is very terrifying and strange. Pick me up. Juhun Steely was not idle either. When Yin Xie attacked Xiaoya, the figure moved and came to Yin Xie in an instant, and then a palm with terrifying power also attacked with a bang. On the evil body. Boom boom boom. The terrifying fluctuations spread out in an instant, leading to circles of terrifying ripples, but although the attack of the Nine Soul Monument was powerful, the attack obviously fell on the ghost blood mist of the evil spirits, and did not cause too much damage to the evil spirits. Big damage. Yin Xie also looked a little bad, after using the ghost energy in his body to take the blow of the Nine Souls Monument. Obviously, the blow of the Nine Souls Monument was not so easily resolved, and there were still some small forces that passed through him. The ghost chi and blood mist attacked the evil body. Old ghost, you are courting death. Yin Xie was obviously a little angry, but he didn't expect the attack of the Nine Soul Monument to be so powerful. Go. Yin Xie was angry, and then an extremely dark chain also spread out from the black blood mist, whistling away at Xiaoya. Chiang Chiang. When the terrifying chains attacked her, a sword appeared out of thin air in Xiaoya's hand, then her eyes closed slightly, and then suddenly opened again. Suddenly the purple sword in her hand burst out with a monstrous breath, and in one fell swoop the evil chains of terror are blocked. Be careful, the strength of this evil spirit should not be underestimated. The Nine Soul Monument also said. Then Xiaoya also looked at the Nine Souls Monument. The Nine Souls Monument seemed to understand Xiaoya's thoughts and nodded knowingly. This sinister method. How is it so similar to the Soul Clan on Dochi continent? At this time, Xiao Yang was also surprised. I have fought countless times with the Soul Clan on the Dochi continent, and I am quite familiar with the methods of the Soul Clan, so I will definitely not go wrong. Damn it. There must be some connection between the ghosts in this ghost world and the Soul Clan. Xiao Yang also shrank his pupils tightly, and then stared at the battle in the sky. Xie, I know your strength is good, but if that's the case, you can't escape the seal. The nine-soul Steely also snorted coldly. Humph. Then try it. Xie also snorted coldly, and his momentum did not weaken at all. The black blood mist around his body became more intense, and an extremely dark chain constantly wandered around him. You are bloodthirsty, and you have already fallen into a place of doom. You can't escape today. The Nine Souls monument continued. He, you old man is really talking nonsense. After Xie finished speaking, his pupils shrank tightly, and the pitch-black chains around him attacked the Nine-Soul monument. The dark chains carry extremely terrifying power, which contains the power of erosion. Zhu Hunji and Xiao Ye both understand that once they are locked by these chains, the end will be extremely miserable. The strength of this evil is more than that. He seems to be waiting for something. Chang Yu also said thoughtfully, but looking at the two 7-star Do Emperor powerhouses in the sky, Chang Yu did not intend to take action. After all, the two also deal with this evil. Sufficient. Moreover, Chang Yu also knew that this time things were definitely not that simple. The evil yin and the two ghosts in the Red Mountain Cold Pond had not yet appeared, so they had to be careful to hide them. Come on. Mueller also discovered the battle in the sky, and immediately summoned the ghosts around him and the people from Red Valley to move forward here. Mueller knew that the strength of the twin ghost emperors was more terrifying than the evil yin of Hankai, so he also wanted to help the twin ghost emperors, first to show goodwill to the twin ghost emperors, and secondly to use the twin ghost emperors. The power to get rid of Xiao Yang. Kill two birds with one stone. I don't know Xie Yin, where did Yuquan and the others go? Mueller was also puzzled. Apparently they hadn't seen them since they entered the ghost town where the twin ghost emperors were sealed. A ghostly ghost. Mueller was also on the move, and suddenly saw an illusory figure swerving away, and when he looked closely, it was a ghostly ghost. This shocked Mueller tilde. Although Mueller is narrow-minded, he dare not offend this ghostly ghost, because whether it is the ghost or the ghost, they are the big reds around the twin ghost emperors. Mueller doesn't have the guts. Moreover, the strength of the ghosts of the secluded spring and the ghost spirits is also very strong. Cough cough cough. I'm fine, let's go meet up with Lord Xie first. The ghostly ghost coughed a few times. Obviously, the heavy hand under Yuquan did not completely heal the wounds of the ghostly ghost. Let's go. After he finished speaking, he also said humanely to the back. The ghosts in the back also calmed down when they saw the ghosts and ghosts coming back. They should be very dissatisfied with Mueller's finger pointing. How could a human in the early stage of the 4-star Do Emperor be so weak to point fingers at them? Although this human being has some indescribable relationship with some strong people in the ghost world, it does not mean that the ghost will be convinced. It's just that the eyes of some of the strong men in Honggu are constantly communicating, as if they have some plans. However, on the frontal battlefield, just when the evil launched an attack to attack the Nine-Soul Monument, an extremely terrifying force suddenly emerged from Xiao Yu, who had been staying in mid-air, and then an extremely loud voice echoed throughout the entire infernal corpse forest. Blood Moon Kill Break the Army. In the sky, Yin Xie's smile froze instantly. At this moment, he finally understood why the Nine Souls Monument was wasting time with himself. It turned out that Xiao Ye was preparing a powerful blow. At this time, Xiao Ye was full of silver-white fighting spirit, and the long sword in her hand was filled with terrifying energy, causing the surrounding space to burst slightly. Blood Moon Kill Break the Army. With Xiao Ye shouting loudly, the long sword in her hand savagely attacked Yin and Evil. Immediately, the terrifying power above the long sword gathered in a crescent moon, and was attacking the evil spirits rapidly. The blood mist instantly increased several times, trying to resist this terrifying blow. The terrifying offensive on the long sword turned into a crescent moon, roaring away at the evil spirits. The gloomy ghost laughed a few times, and Yin Xie was not at all afraid of Xiao Ye's attack. When the terrifying grey meniscus attacked, Yin Xie just put his hands in front of him and shouted, "Blood 10 directions." As Yin Xie's loud shout fell, a slanted cross light suddenly appeared in front of it silently. Boom boom boom. The terrifying meniscus slammed heavily on the cross light of the evil blood mist, making an extremely harsh friction sound. The dazzling blood-red cross light and the strong grey meniscus sword light met in the air, and there was a loud noise, like a thunderous thunder, and the ground space trembled. The terrifying ripples scattered all over the place, forcing Xiao Yang and the others to take a few steps back before they stopped. Seeing Xiao Ye's shot, the Juhun monument snorted lightly, and his body swelled up, and then the whole body was covered with a powerful red light, like a dragon flying into the sky, and appeared above the evil in a blink of an eye, with a scorching heat that devoured everything. Power, cut to the bottom. Dragon sad hand. Not far away, everyone's pupils also shrank tightly, because they could feel it, whether it was Xiao Ye's blood moon killing Po Jun, or Juhun's dragon's sad hand, what it contained in it could destroy the sky and destroy the earth. Xiao Yang stood quietly in the same place, with a faint twinkle in his eyes, staring at the corpse, very concealed, not knowing what he was doing. "Master, aren't these twin ghost emperors only half? How can their strength be so terrifying?" Xiao Yang also murmured, because from Xiao Yang's perception, this evil spirit is actually not afraid of Xiao Ye and Juhun Bei. You must know that these two are genuine 7-star fighting emperors. This evil spirit is stronger than you think. Nine Soul Steely and Xiao Ye should also know this, and they showed their true abilities when they attacked at the very beginning. However, this evil spirit seems to have some plans. I always find it strange that the evil yin in the cold pond seems to have disappeared. The Golden Dragon King also said solemnly. Hearing this, Xiao Yang didn't ask any more questions. After all, he couldn't get involved in a battle of this level, but Xiao Yang was not idle either. The strange fire in his body slowly gathered and merged. A rather beautiful fire lotus was also slow. Form slowly. Let's act on a whim. Xiao Yang also murmured. In the sky, the sinister terrifying cross-red light, and the crescent moon of Xiao Ye were intertwined, and a monstrous explosion erupted. The shocking explosion was also slowly disappearing, but the terrifying energy it produced gave everyone in the entire infernal corpse forest couldn't help but take a deep breath. As the two terrorist attacks have just disappeared, the attack of the Nine Soul Monument is also imminent. When Yinxie and Xiao Ye confronted each other, the Nine Souls Monument came to the top of Yinxie. Seeing that Yinxiheng and Xiao Ye's crescent moon were constantly fighting against each other, it also sank slightly, and then the terrifying fighting chi burst out instantly. Take a photo of yourself below. Take it with a palm. Bringing up a monstrous red light, the fiery red light beam turned into an extremely ferocious dragon, roaring away at the evil below. Boom boom boom. At this time, Yin Xie had just finished dealing with Xiao Ye, and the breath in his body was disordered. So the attack of the Nine Soul Monument also directly attacked the blood mist of Yin Xie. As the attack of the Nine Souls Monument fell, the original blood-red blood mist on the evil body became a little illusory. The cracks are also very obvious. Obviously, the blood mist above Yin Xie's body blocked all the power of the Nine Souls Monument, but the blood mist was also on the verge of collapse. Humph! Yin Xie sneered, and then suddenly increased the aura in his body, the momentum soared, and instantly shook Xiao Ye and the Nine Soul Monument away. Roar! The terrifying dragon contains extremely pure power, and it is attacked by evil spirits. Although the evil spirits temporarily shook the Nine Souls Monument and Xiao Ye away, the attack of the Nine Souls Monument also caused him great damage. Because the layer of blood mist above Yin Xie's body is also part of his strength, the blood mist was severely damaged, and Yin Xie's body was also in chaos. Cough cough cough. Damn it, I still underestimated the two of you. Yin Xie also said with a bad expression. Obviously, he had just broken through the seal and his strength had not recovered, but he was attacked by the two of them. Yin Xie was also overwhelmed. In the field, a fierce battle is taking place between the two and the evil spirit. At this time, Xiao Yan has continuously released his soul power, and even the spiritual power, trying to find out the secrets of the evil. But no matter what Xiao Yan did, the result was the same, that is, there was a very strange mysterious power in this evil spirit, which concealed the evil spirit inside and maintained its powerful and strange aura. As for what it was, Xiao Yan couldn't find it out, because as soon as his soul power got close to that mysterious power, it would be swallowed up, and it was completely impossible to probe into the details. While Xiao Yan was investigating Yin Xie, under the attack of He Juhun tablet and Xiao Ye, Yin Xie suddenly turned his attention to Xiao Yang. How can there be a familiar and strange aura in this human being? This kid should have something from our ghost world. Yin Xie also shrank, his pupils tightly. Tilda seems to have launched some kind of attack on Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang also coughed violently, covering the blood in his mouth with his hand. The power of this evil spirit is really tyrannical. Xiao Yang also secretly said, but he never thought that his ordinary soul power of the Emperor realm was still easily discovered by him, and he fought back. Xiao Yang's every move was very obscure, and was not discovered by others, because everyone at this time was focused on the battle in the sky. They all know it. That was a battle between the three 7-star Do-D powerhouses. Watching at such a close distance is also beneficial to their future cultivation, but more importantly, they knew that once Xiao Ye and the 9-soul monument were defeated, what was waiting for them was. Pass my order, be careful around you, if there are other ghosts approaching. Kill. Wu Jiang's ruthless voice was also transmitted on the 3rd floor of the infernal corpse forest, and the crowd gathered at this time. Damn it. Why is the aura of evil Yin getting weaker and weaker? And why did Yu Quan and Yu Mei disappear? Yin Xie also retreated in the face of the two men's terrifying and fierce offensive, and he was also angry in his heart. In the sky, the power of the two together is very powerful, and they have already controlled the evil within a certain range. However, the two also tried to destroy it, but no matter how they attacked, they couldn't hit the evil body. 9-soul monument, if we continue like this, we will be consumed to death by this ghost emperor. This is the infernal corpse forest. And it's still a cloudy moon. You should know better than me. Xiao Ye is also constantly attacking the evil spirits, but the voice in her mouth also entered the ears of the 9 souls monument. Xiao Ye also had a fluctuating expression in her eyes. She glanced at the 9 souls monument next to it that was also attacking, and asked, Senior, can you think of any way to do it? If we go on like this, I'm afraid we'll be exhausted and we won't be able to kill this thing. It's not impossible to kill this corpse. It's just that we don't have good weapons, so we can't break his defense against this corpse. The 9 soul Steely also said it in one sentence. When Xiao Ye heard the words, she also turned her pupils slightly to look in a certain direction, not knowing what she was thinking. It's just where Xiao Ye looked. It was the place where Xiao Yang stood. Xiao Yang also felt a very bad look when Xiao Ye saw her here. Xiao Yang, borrow the fairy sword in your hand. Xiao Ye also looked at Xiao Yang and looked at her, and then said. When everyone heard this, they were also shocked. Xiao Yang. Is that the one who took advantage of it? Mu Yingying stood beside the heavenly fire sacred tiger, biting her lips slightly, obviously a little surprised. Little ancestor, this Xiao Yang is not easy. Don't underestimate the enemy. The human-like heavenly fire sacred tiger also said. This time, Mu Yingying surprisingly did not refute, and her beautiful eyes looked at the man named Xiao Yang. He on. Like. There are familiar things. Mu Yingying also looked at her blankly. It's actually Xiao Yang. But at the moment, the point-grabbing competition should also be forced to be interrupted. If we don't solve this evil thing in front of us, then our end will be. Luo Guang also said. He knew that Xiao Yang would definitely not be a fuel-efficient lamp, but he did not have a holiday, although his companion wanted to his points, but he did not do anything, so he could not say the enemy. The woman in front of Luo Guang also nodded in agreement with Luo Guang's statement. The matter of points should be put aside for a while. Qiu Huanyao was also jealous of the points in Xiao Yang's hands, but at this time he also knew the magnitude of the matter, so he watched the battle in the sky solemnly. Xiao Yang. I have to figure it out. How can you have the blood of our snake people in your body? Said a woman who was also a contestant. That is. Twin ghost emperors, Lord Yin Xie. The ghost spirits were also excited. Mueller also smiled in agreement. He could feel the terrifying power of this sinister evil, and it would be easy to deal with Xiao Yang. Go. Once someone blocks Lord Yin Xie. Kill Wuxia. The ghost spirit also said, and then the figures behind him also followed. Under the cover of the cloudy moon, the dark figure could not be clearly seen without careful observation. Do you want to do it now? Hong Ye also asked gently. Wait, there are still some things in this evil spirit that have not been revealed. Yu Quan also said slowly. Yu Quan can feel that even if the evil is besieged by the two 7-star Do Emperor powerhouses, the ghost energy in the body is also there is no weakening in the slightest, and it is even continuously increasing. When Xiao Yang heard the words, he paused, and then he didn't hesitate. The Emperor Yang ring turned slightly in his hand, and the fiery red long sword appeared out of thin air. When the fiery red long sword appeared, the space around the long sword exuded an extremely terrifying power. Obviously, this is the power of the fiery red sword itself. This is just a broken state, and it has such power. If it is at its peak, then the power of this fairy sword is also. Senior, catch it. Then Xiao Yang held it with one hand, threw it heavily, and flew towards the 9-soul monument. The reason why Xiao Yang didn't throw the long sword to Xiao Ye is because the power of the 9-soul monument is more powerful, and the attribute of the 9-soul monument is also a fire attribute, and the bonus to the immortal sword is even more terrifying. It's actually a fairy sword. Xiao Yang, this guy. Luo Guang also said enviously. He knew the value of this fairy sword very well. The value of this fairy sword is more precious than the fighting skills of the fairy. Good sword. The 9-soul monument also caught the fiery red long sword, and then an extremely pure force spread throughout the body. Xiao Ye, give me some time. The 9 souls monument also said solemnly, and after that, the fiery red sword in his hand stood in front of his eyes. His eyes were slightly closed, but those with discerning eyes would find the world around the 9 souls monument. The power is gathering towards the 9-soul monument with rapid power. It's just that the power of heaven and earth in this corpse forest is also extremely thin. With the injection of power between heaven and earth, the immortal sword in front of the 9 souls monument also has a ray of milky white light surrounding the sword body. It's only about a quarter of it. It's still quite a bit of time before it's all around. Damn old ghost. Are you going to go all out? Yin Xie also saw the Juhun monument so poised, and felt a wave of death. Obviously, this fiery red fairy sword gave him extremely strong pressure. Boy, it's a good thing to break this emperor. After this matter is over, this emperor will definitely kill you. Yin Xie also said something vicious to Xiao Yang. After he finished speaking, the dark chains were instantly closed, and the blood mist all over his body disappeared. It's just that an extremely terrifying suction force spreads out from the center of the evil in an instant. And with the fluctuation of yin and evil, Xiao Yan also suddenly understood. Damn yin evil, actually want to use the ghost energy in this yin-yu and corpse forest to break through the 7th grade ghost emperor. Xiao Yan is also clear that the higher the rank, the difference in strength is also very obvious. Xiao Yan has been in the yin corpse forest for so many years, and she naturally knows the method used by the yin evil, but this method is quite dangerous. But there is no doubt that if it succeeds, the strength of this evil will also increase. What a terrifying lunatic. Xiao Yan also snorted coldly tilde, and then her color became solemn. For example, right now, his own strength should be in the middle stage of the 7-star Do Emperor, and the strength of the 9-soul monument is in the late stage of the 7-star Do Emperor. The two of them joined forces to deal with the infernal core, which is comparable to the peak strength of the human 7-star Do Emperor without any advantage. If this is to make Yin Xie break through the 7-star Do Emperor, then what awaits them? Only death. Everyone, help me. Xiao Yan also said to everyone on the ground. Although the people on the ground didn't understand what was going on, they saw the terrifying attack of the 9 Souls monument in the sky, and the evil spirit that was absorbing the ghost energy in the entire Yin corpse forest. Suddenly, as Xiao Yan's words just fell, everyone on the ground also understood the seriousness of this matter. They did not stand by and did not stand by. They exerted their vindictive energy to the extreme, and then turned into extremely terrifying forces that gathered directly to the 9 Souls monument. Then, after the transformation of the 9 Soul monument, a stream of pure power slowly surrounded the fairy sword. Xiao Yan also knows that attacking the Yin corpse at this time is also a waste of effort, so it is also a steady stream of vindictiveness towards the 9 Soul monument. On the other hand, the suction force of the evil is also continuously expanding, and then the entire evil corpse forest is madly rushing towards him, and his breath is slowly soaring. In the sky at this time, an extremely hot and pure force is slowly brewing, and another extremely evil and strange force is constantly soaring and growing. On the ground, Mu Yingying, Qiu Hunyao, Luo Guang, and the others also continuously sent their power to the 9 Soul monument. This is the ongoing battle between the powerhouses. Xiao Yan also sighed with emotion, and then while delivering Do Qi, he kept swallowing the medicinal pills, so the Do Qi didn't consume much. It's a little strange. Hasn't the evil yin of Hongshan Hankai already broken through the seal? There are 2 ghost spirits, and I haven't seen these 3 people yet. It's really strange. Xiao Yang said, but he had to keep a hand in his heart. After all, it is the thinking of ordinary people. The 2 parts of the twin ghost emperors have just broken through the seal and must be merged into one. The strength of the evil is also the peak in the true sense, and it can be called a twin ghost emperor. Could it be that the evil's head was caught in the door? Xiao Yang said, but he didn't really think that since the twin ghost emperors could be sealed by many Xiantian powerhouses, it was definitely not the case. Fool. So there is only one possible outcome. It seems that something happened to the evil yin in Hankai. Xiao Yang also muttered. Yueru, Mu Feng, give you medicinal pills, remember to keep some strength, I always feel that something is wrong. After Xiao Yang finished speaking, some medicinal pills also appeared in front of the 2 of them out of thin air. The 2 were not polite, and put it away directly. After all, there is no way to restore grudges here, and there are many people with mixed eyes. This kind of high-level recovery medicine cannot avoid jealousy from others. In the sky, 2 extremely obvious forces were also split apart. The body of the 9 Soul monument hangs in the air, and the whole body emits a monstrous light, and the fairy sword in the hand shoots several meters of light. The whole person stood still in the air, only to see his hands clenched tightly, his eyes serious, and a powerful aura erupted from his whole body. All around, red brilliance burst, and a dazzling brilliance enveloped the nine-soul monument in the middle. One is to prevent the invasion of ghosts, and the other is to accumulate the power of this fairy sword. The Juhun monument has strange handprints on the chest with both hands, and the whole person is like a god, and the whole body bursts with dazzling brilliance. As the light of the immortal sword in the hand of the nine-soul stele became stronger and stronger, it was about to fill the entire body of the immortal sword faintly, and a wave of destructive fluctuations slowly spread out. "It's still a little bit," the Nine Souls monument muttered, and then he didn't pay attention to the evil spirits. He concentrated on the sword in his hand to gather Do Chi. In addition, many people on the ground gathered Do Chi. The power is also increasing rapidly. Boom, boom, boom. On the other side, the terrifying suction force of the evil, the constant stream of ghost chi continuously converged on the evil body from all directions. With the injection of the ghost gas, the evil body also swelled up, obviously because of this extremely huge caused by ghosts. Minutes passed by. As the huge ghost chi gathered together, a cloud of extremely thick black chi gas could not help but surround the Inxia body with a bang, and the Inxia ghost emperor slowly opened his eyes. Yin Xie also snorted coldly, "Nine-soul monument, it seems that I am the one who lost this time." Ha ha ha. After saying that, he burst into laughter. A more terrifying force also swept in. Damn it. Half-step 8th rank Ghost Emperor. Wu Jiang also said secretly, obviously the original evil spirit, although the strength is the peak of 7th rank Ghost Emperor, but there is no small distance from this half-step 8th rank. 8th rank Ghost Emperor. The red-clothed Chang Yu also said solemnly, obviously the strength of this evil spirit has surpassed his cognition and control. Half-step 8th rank. Xiao Yan also shrank his pupils tightly. It was obviously the first time he encountered such a powerful enemy, and he immediately clenched his fists, watching the changes in the sky vigilantly. It's just that at this time, the flow of Do Chi in Xiao Yang's body has obviously slowed down, as if it was suppressed by the evil that is comparable to that of a human 8-star Do Emperor. Not only Xiao Yang, Yu is also biting her lips, obviously more uncomfortable than Xiao Yang, and Mu Feng and the others are also suppressed by this terrifying evil power. The strength of this evil has also been sealed for such a long time, so this breakthrough is so easy. But now he hasn't really broken through the half-step 8th rank. Although the concentration of ghost energy in the body is already comparable to that of the half-step 8th rank Ghost Emperor, but at best he can count as a half-step into the 8th rank Ghost Emperor. It's just a Ghost Emperor. The Golden Dragon King also said slowly, obviously even if he was as strong as a human 8-star fighting emperor, his master, the Golden Dragon King, did not take it seriously. It's so true. But this half-step 8th rank Ghost Emperor can now dominate this place. Xiao Yang also frowned slightly, obviously secretly closing the Lotus of Annihilation tightly, as long as there is a slight disturbance. The strength of this Ghost Emperor. Tianhuoxing who also shrank his pupils tightly, because even though he was far away from the evil spirits in the sky, he could clearly feel the extremely powerful ghost energy in the evil spirits. Mu Yingying. I'm going to the space here, you can go out quickly. Tianhuoxing who also said a little weakly. What about you? Mu Yingying also said softly. This is my home. I can't stand to see it destroyed like this. Tianhuoxing who also said, and then he looked at the ghosts and some trees that were constantly flying from all over the corpse forest. Some eyes are red. But then you will die. Mu Yingying was also slightly at a loss. Don't you humans have a saying like this? A man and a man are inherently dead, or heavier than Mount Tai, or lighter than a feather. After speaking, Tianhuoxing who was not looking at Mu Yingying, but his breath had already soared to the limit, and then his eyes were fixed on the sky. The two powers that are just around the corner. Mu Yingying's eyes moved slightly. She obviously wanted to call back the heavenly fire sacred tiger, but she couldn't say anything. The Nine-Soul Monument let out a loud cry, only to hear him say, "Evil sword." Immediately, the surrounding airflow surged, and the entire area was dozens of feet, and the space was filled with a powerful and pure power. I saw the Juhun Monument holding a red fairy sword and standing in the sky. A light burst above his head instantly, and a flashing red and white sword of the void was held high above his head. In the blink of an eye, the broken light disappeared instantly, and the sword of the void instantly burst into a dazzling light, and it turned into a giant sword of about several hundred feet. Countless spells flickered on the sword, which were extremely clear, and were continuously scattered from top to bottom along with the red and white light. It's just that everyone on the ground can feel that this fairy sword contains an extremely powerful force of destruction and purification. Since Yin Xie broke through the half-step 8th rank Ghost Emperor, he has been staring at the Nine-Soul Monument, as if he must win. Everyone knows that this brings together the battle of the strongest in the corpse forest. It's just right. Yin Xie laughed loudly, then his eyes narrowed slightly, and an extremely powerful aura emanated from his body. Countless lonely souls and wild ghosts also came out of the evil body. This is the power of ghosts. The ghost of the secluded spring, who was hiding in the dark, also shrank his pupils tightly, staring at the evil in the sky in front of him. Damn old guy, actually hiding such important information. Yu Quan also secretly said, obviously surprised by the ferocious ghost face on this sinister body. Others may not know what this is, but Yu Quan is very clear. It was this kind of ghost power that slaughtered the entire village where he lived. Although Yu Quan knows that this evil may not be the culprit who killed his village in the first place, but it is only possible to find a breakthrough from him. Because at the beginning, although their village was slaughtered, the clone Yu Quan was surprised when he collected the corpse, and he didn't find his younger brother's body. Therefore, Yu Quan has not only been looking for opportunities to become stronger these years, but has also been looking for his younger brother, because he always believed that his younger brother would not die easily. It is rumored that people in the ghost world will be given the power of ghosts by ghosts when they make great contributions. Could it be that the power of this evil spirit is? Yu Quan also clenched his fists and said. Heng Ye on the side also noticed that Yu Quan he was emotionally unstable. He just wanted to comfort him, but Yu Quan calmed down again, so he had no choice but to do it, and then stared at the battle in the sky. At this time, the black qi and ghost qi all over Yin Xie's body are extremely thick, and above the ghost qi, the ghostly ghost faces of some extremely ferocious lonely ghosts, and wild ghosts also appeared. The power of ghosts. The Golden Dragon King also murmured while staring at the evil spirits in the air. What is that? Xiao Yang also stared at the evil spirit in the sky with a puzzled look, because Xiao Yang discovered that since the evil had just broken through the half-step 8th rank Ghost Emperor, the ghost energy in the evil spirit it seems to have discovered a world-shaking change. If the ghost qi in Yin Xie was 1 before, the ghost qi in Yin Xie is now 10. Moreover, according to Xiao Yang's perception and judgment, the mutation of this evil must be related to other things, and it must not be related to promotion, because Xiao Yang has never heard that promotion will change his breath. The most important thing to advance is to enhance your aura. The power in the ghost world is divided into ghost qi, which is possessed by ordinary ghosts and some ghost emperors. Their strongest are only at the pinnacle level of the 9th rank Ghost Emperor. They are the same as the peak do di of human beings, except that there are two kinds of power above the ghost. One is the power of ghosts. This level of power can only be absorbed by real ghosts and immortals. This evil is only half-step 8th rank strength. How could it have this kind of power? The Golden Dragon King was also surprised. Obviously, his brows were furrowed, and he said solemnly, "If it is said that Yin Xie has just been promoted to the 8th rank, and has not made his master Jin Longwang unhappy, then the power of ghosts in Yin Xie now makes his master Jin Longwang not surprised. The power of ghosts in this evil spirit." Xiao Yan also stared at the evil in the sky, and found that he was surrounded by some hideous faces. It's just strange that the hideous faces surrounding Yin Xie exude an extremely evil aura. "Master, what about the last one?" Xiao Yan also murmured, "The 3 breaths in this ghost world represent 3 levels of powerhouses. The power of this ghost is so powerful, then the last kind word of strength. That kind of power is too far away, you still don't know it right now. But don't worry, the top powers in the 7 worlds are stalemate with each other, so you don't have to worry." The Golden Dragon King also said, The war is about to begin." Xiao Yan also cast his gaze into the sky. In the sky at this time, a war is about to break out. On the one hand, Xiao Ye's whole body was full of vindictiveness, and her aura was extremely sluggish. The remaining 9 soul monument also had a solemn expression, and the fiery red fairy sword in her hand was held high above her head. The whole body is already glowing red and white light, very dazzling. In this dark corpse forest where the dark moon spreads, the red and white fairy swords emit dazzling rays of light, and an extremely pure aura. As soon as the surrounding ghost energy touches it, it is evaporated out of thin air. Yin Xie on the side also looked particularly ferocious, and then slowly raised his hand and pointed lightly at the position where the 9 souls monument was. "Ghosts and Hongfei." A finger that seems to be an understatement, but it contains extremely terrifying power. As Yin Xie pointed his finger at the 9 souls monument, a terrifying ghostly aura that filled the entire Yin corpse forest sky also burst out from Yin Xie's body. Then he attacked the 9 souls monument with an evil aura that was like a broken bamboo. In the black rays of light, some very hideous faces kept emerging, and then they opened their ***** mouths to the place where the 9 souls monument was, and shouted sweet. The scene was extremely sad. Seeing that Yin Xie launched the attack first, the 9 soul monument also shouted loudly, and the immortal sword clenched on the head with both hands slashed down heavily. Shocking evil sword. Following the powerful slashing of the 9 souls monument, a red and white sword beam about 100 meters in size also rushed away against the evil attack. In the sky at this time, 2 terrifying rays of light are rapidly gathering at a speed visible to the naked eye. The people on the ground also held their breath, nervously watching the confrontation in the sky. Everyone at this time is also clear. In this fight, the winner will be decided. If they fail, then their fate is also. Immediately, they all clenched their fists. Boom boom boom. In the sky the terrifying 2 forces slammed into each other at the next moment. Following the confrontation between the 2 red and white rays of light, and the pitch-black evil beam of light, the entire space exploded slightly, and waves of extremely hot fire waves also spread out from the explosion circle, and scattered everywhere. Although Zhenxie sword is the nemesis of this ghost emperor, after all, the immortal sword is broken, and now it's a cloudy moon, which has greatly enhanced the strength of the evil spirits. Get ready, there are several strong forces around here, and there may be fierce battles in a while. Xiao Yang released a flame barrier, and then said to Yueru and Mu Feng who were beside him. When the 2 heard the words, they nodded slightly. After all, dealing with the terrifying pressure of the evil aura already made it a little bit hard for them to breathe. Now, with Xiao Yang's barrier protection, it was a lot better. The shocking explosion in the sky lasted for a while, and then it dissipated, and everyone on the ground breathed a sigh of relief, because the 2 were evenly matched. However, everyone also knows that the power in the 9 soul monument and Yin Xie has also been consumed a lot in the previous battle. It's not very favorable for us. Hu Du also secretly said. The remaining players who participated in the point-grabbing competition. Follow me. Destroy the Ghost Emperor. Wu Jiang said it too. This video will end here.